Welcome, everyone, to the PW Fan, the ultimate pro wrestling podcast created by fans for fans. This is episode 136. I'm your host, collector, barber, musician, and most importantly, a professional wrestling podcaster, Talk Wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast, Andy.
I am also your host, the No Selling Wrestling Indie fan and football lover, Jeremy.
Yeah, we've been nailing having us all back together. It's good to be here, all three of us in the intro. All right, everyone, guys and gals. Today we will be discussing and reviewing the week of pro wrestling. Today we will be talking about the behind the curtain from WrestleMania 40, Britt Baker returning, Money in the Bank, and more. Before we start this week's episode, if you don't mind, like always, take care of a couple social media things. Just search us on all socials at the PW Fan, from X to Instagram to TikTok. We should pop right up there. Give us a follow. It really helps us out. For YouTube, go to youtube.com/the PW Fan Pod, where we kindly ask you to subscribe, comment, and engage on there to help us get a little bit more traction going. And lastly, for shirts, prowrestlingtees.com/the PW Fan. All right, Andy, episode 136. I'm going to send it over to you, buddy. Take us away.
First, I was going to say, I think I was the only one that watched it. New episode biography this week, A&E biography. The Steiner brothers. That was an interesting one. I mean, towards the end, I didn't know Scott Steiner was like so bitter towards WWE.
Yeah, he hates him. Hates Triple H too.
Yeah, and so he was like super surprised about the Hall of Fame and like didn't know if he wanted to do it or not, kind of thing. I didn't know he hated it that bad. Was it his time there that he hated, like that put a bad taste in his mouth?
So he had what was called, at the time that he went to WWE after his big WCW run. See, here's the thing. What a lot of people don't know, and like I don't think Jeremy really understood yesterday when I brought it up, because I think he thought I was joking. But Scott Steiner used to be a very, like, even though he was so buff and huge, he was a very, like, off the top rope athletic guy doing the Frankensteiner, and like he was actually
I remember saying that.
Yeah, he was actually a very agile athlete, even though he had that crazy body. And then even later on into his WCW run, when he was Big Papa Pump, he still could bust out some more aerial maneuvers from time to time. By the time that he got to WWE in 2002 or 3, I can't remember exactly which year, he unfortunately had...
Oh, his ankle was fucked up.
Yeah, he had what's called I think it's called a club foot.
I'm remembering.
So he couldn't do a lot of the things that, he once did. So unfortunately, there are people... He thinks that... I've read interviews, and he's changed his opinion, but he thinks that Triple H did stuff in their match to make him look bad. Like, he no-sold and went dead weight on him, and he said he sandbagged me a bunch in the match to make it look like I was weak and couldn't pick him up. So he definitely had some animosity, and then on top of the foot thing, he never really got to do what he wanted, I think.
Remember they had the pose off?
I mean, that is classic Raw. The pose off is the pose off was a classic.
Dude, the pose off was rough.
Yeah, they did the pose off. They did the pose off. They did the arm wrestling, and then they did the push up contest.
Oh my God,
he was only there a year, I guess, and like that was his basically, like, I think majority of the time was feuding with Triple H.
Well, no. See, actually, unfortunately, and this is what a lot of people don't remember, his big run.
He got their Survivor Series.
He got there at the Survivor Series. He feuded with Triple H. Next thing you know, he's in a tag team with Test and Stacy Keibler, and they're talking about their testicles. And, like, dude, it was, like, so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of where his run ended.
Now, you know whose run really... You know whose one really, besides The Rock, was Triple H? Was Goldberg. It was Rock, Triple H, and Goldberg, or in Brock. That was basically his entire run.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was there a year too.
Yep.
He competed in the second Elimination Chamber, which I feel like goes unnoticed. It was stacked.
That's crazy.
Second Elimination Chamber
The second
was
Elimination
Jericho,
Chamber gets no love.
but Jericho,
its
Goldberg,
cast is
Randy
crazy.
Orton.
Yeah.
Jericho, Goldberg, Randy Orton, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Kevin Nash.
It's a crazy Elimination Chamber. Why does no one talk about this
Goldberg
one?
spears
I don't
Jericho through the chamber.
Probably because it's the second one. Like, no one pays attention to the second one usually after like the.
I think the third one is the one that maybe I'm wrong, but that Edge cashed in on Cena. But
know. I thought that was New Year's Revolution.
Okay, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was the fourth. Maybe
I can't remember. There's
the
been
third
so
one
many
is
at this
Batista
point.
in it. Anyway, so yeah, that was cool. I think they're skipping a week. Next week is The Miz for biography. So Jeremy, you
watch
watched
the
a
Miz's
little bit of
biography,
it.
bro?
No, I said I'm gonna. I said
okay,
next week is The Miz.
Say,
We're
don't
skipping it.
disrespect.
I don't think I'll skip it.
I watch everything. We
Don't
discussed
disrespect our boy the Jizz like that, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
the jizz. The jizz. So Jeremy watched a little bit of Heatwave, NXT's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Oh, that was pretty good. What I
New
saw
NXT
was
champion Ethan Page. What a
yeah,
crazy
that was
finish.
crazy.
So Trick Williams hits his finisher on Javon Evans.
Yeah,
And
who was
then
actually
he
really
hits
good, by
it
the
on
way.
Ethan Page as well. Ethan Page
Falls
on
on
his back and lands on a knocked out Javon Evans into like a pin position. Sean Spears pulls Trick Williams out of the ring, not knowing that Ethan Page is accidentally pinning Javon Evans in this fatal four-way. And Ethan Page
is NXT
WWE
champion.
gave Ethan Page what AEW could not.
That's wild.
Ethan
And
Page,
also, it was only his second like title match, right? Wasn't it like his second match
second
in
or
general?
third.
NXT?
I mean, his first match in there basically in NXT was against Trick Williams. So this might have been his second one.
He immediately was put at the top though when he debuted.
How do you feel about Obafemi?
I think could be good. Like could be really
I mean,
good.
he tossed around Wesley.
He did like an F10 to him.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Not
did.
like
I saw
is
that
only
actually.
Yeah, he just like
that Javon Evans guy. He's only 20
20
years old. Yeah.
That's wild.
He did that crazy front flip out to the outside to Trick through the barrier.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that either.
So that was in the arena there in Toronto. And then let's talk about, we all finally got around to, Jeremy, you saw it first, but then
Oh, yes. I really want to hear what you guys think about this.
Well, I mean, it's not confirmed, but I'm sure parts were taken out that made The Rock look a little bad. I am curious as to why there's no footage of Cody and The Rock talking backstage.
So we're talking about the documentary Behind the Curtain for WrestleMania.
That should have been out the day after WrestleMania.
Yeah,
should
have been out.
Editing, I think that needed to happen.
Some editing. Reshoots for The Rock.
What I got out of it is The Rock is the savior of the WWE and of WrestleMania. It was a lot about The Rock.
I think it was all about The Rock.
Everything, The Rock was like, yeah, that's a good idea. How do we fix this?
I called this person.
It's like, you might have fixed it, but you were also the cause of like a lot of the chaos.
Yeah, he was the main cause of why I had to do that.
And then the second little cause was CM Punk's injury, but the main cause was The Rock getting involved. I mean, like, I know you were brewing this story for like 2 years now, but now's the time.
Now's the time when someone else really needs to finish the story.
And so that's my take on it. It was good. It was an hour long. It was interesting. I love backstage things.
I liked it too.
I got the feeling Triple H never wanted The Rock involved.
There was a strong line. Every time Triple H's part would pop up and he's like, just we had to, call an audible or whatever he said.
The last thing I'll say is that Triple H actually listens to the people, and this main event got changed, unlike Vince. I think Vince would have kept it and been like, they're going to like what I give them. So that's my take. What about you all?
As The Rock said, you plow through or you change it. And he's like, and I made the call to change it.
He made the call.
Apparently, it was only him.
All right, what are your guys' thoughts? Those are mine. That's what I got out of it.
I thought,
unless you're all like, yeah, basically you said it.
I mean,
the memes have started, and it's hilarious.
Memes were so funny.
For anybody who's not into like internet culture and maybe just is more of a casual like listener, like people have been making these memes that it's like a screenshot of The Rock from that documentary, and it's basically giving him credit for anything cool that's ever happened in WWE. He's like, so they'll be like lettering,
a pipe bomb.
Yeah. So I called CM Punk and told him you need to do the pipe bomber. So I told Mick Foley, you need to go off the top of the Hell in the Cell. I've seen that one a couple
I
times.
told Tony Khan, you need to start AEW.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I thought overall I still liked it a lot. I liked seeing behind the scenes stuff like that too, but it was like, I don't know. I kind of wish it was more than just that match as well. Like I wish they had like other people talking about their matches too, because there's like so much that happens at WrestleMania that I think it gets overlooked.
I can almost guarantee that there was probably tons of other footage of people talking their matches, and The Rock was like, there's not enough me in here. There needs to be more.
That's wild to me.
So yeah, that's everything basically I wanted to talk about though before we get into the actual shows. Is there anything else you want to bring up?
I think that's kind of it.
All right, well then, let's get going. Raw this past week, opened up with Jey Uso, who vowed to win the briefcase at Money in the Bank. This would bring out Chad Gable, and as the two would talk with one another, Chad was looking to shift the attention of the Wide Six from him to Jey Uso. That did not work though. Jay and Chad Gable would get physical a little bit, and then all of a sudden, the Wide Six, I won't call it music, I guess like powering down sound and fog would show. And instead of just like Sister Abigail showing this time, it was like all members were kind of cutting off his exit in various ways. So for the second week in a row, is it Sister Abigail or is it Abby the Witch from the Firefly Funhouse? Because that's what they called her in the Firefly Funhouse.
Well, they haven't said anything yet formally, like since they've
it's
debuted,
yet to be revealed. But
I feel bad about saying Sister Abigail, but even though I know it's probably the other one.
Well, if it's the Firefly Funhouse brought to life, then it's Abby the Witch. But if it's not, then
doesn't Abby the Witch technically just represent Sister Abigail?
Yeah, it was just the character of the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah.
So she gave Michael Cole another videotape, which we will get to later on in the show. Backstage, we had a Judgment Day segment. I believe Damian Priest would catch Dominic Mysterio lying about talking to Rhea, because Dom said he talked to Rhea and everything was good, and then Damian's like, really? Because I just got off the phone with her and she says you haven't talked to her. So Dom says he'll once again handle everything. When they go into the Judgment Day's quote-unquote lair, Liv Morgan's in there with Finn Balor and Carlito playing video games. And tension, I guess you could say tension, started brewing even more with Balor and Damian. I don't know where they're going with the Balor and Liv stuff.
Yeah. Did you see also, I don't know, this is probably more for next week, but WWE uploaded the complete story of Judgment Day or whatever video on YouTube?
Oh, no.
And everyone's like, what do you mean the complete story?
Like, starting with Edge?
Like it's going to be done soon.
Oh.
Is what people were thinking.
Oh, because it's like kind of phasing out. Yeah.
It's like, that's it. Yeah.
I thought so. I said that. So didn't I say something the other day to us or at the show? I was like, I think this is coming to an end soon. Mm-hmm. Because of
or at least Priest, but
And also, you're gonna have the whole thing. Obviously, Rhea's gonna come back and be a baby.
She doesn't need
face.
them anymore, though.
And she doesn't need them anymore. And then she's gonna
Yeah.
have
Judgment
and then
Day made her bigger, and
then-
now she doesn't need them.
And then she's gonna have a beef with Dom, like a breakup kind of beef. And then it's gonna be like, why would they be in the same group together? So it's gonna change regardless.
Yeah. So then Liv and Dom are together then, like a pair?
Where's Liv with?
For a
Finn
little bit
Balor? See, I don't know.
until-
All that.
Oh,
Until-
right. Finn?
Till
I mean, Finn and Damien are
steals
at
her.
some point going to feud.
Just kidding.
So we had a match, though, a title match. Liv Morgan retaining against Zelina Vega. During this match, of course, Dom would come out, and Corey Graves on commentary would say, "Dom's less Eddie Guerrero these days, and more American Love Machine Art Bar." Do you know who that is, Tim?
That's Eddie Guerrero's tag team partner, or was in AAA.
When
Or,
in
in Mexico.
when he was wearing like the American, yeah.
He's also the inventor of the frog splash.
Art bars.
Mm-hmm. And that's where
Okay.
Eddie got it from.
Oh.
Seth Rollins would come out and start cutting a promo about his upcoming match with Damian Priest at Money in the Bank. But instead of Damian Priest coming out first, Finn Balor would interrupt. Damian Priest would follow behind, and they would lay out Seth Rollins. But it seemed like there was more tension between the two during all this. After that, we had I think the final women's qualifier. Zoe Stark would qualify by defeating Dakota Kai and Ivy Nile to go on to Money in the Bank. This will be her second Money in the Bank. And then they showed the Uncle Howdy / Bo Dallas video that Sister Abigail, Nikki Cross, gave to Michael Cole. And I just want to say, any doubts about Bo Dallas carrying this should be erased.
I like how you actually have that written down in the notes
I
here.
wanted to make sure I said it. Yeah, any doubts? I feel like if people were thinking of the Bo Dallas of old, and that he couldn't carry on Bray's legacy,
So you
I
have to
think they are
believe.
very wrong.
You just have to believe.
And what did I tell you guys? I said the thing I like about Bo Dallas doing this is that, look, I loved Bray. It was great, but also Bray was very cryptic, and Bo's take on this whole thing is I understand it more. Let's just say that.
It's more direct.
There's no wondering week to week. Like,
His wording of he's not doing the Bray Malachi thing where you're using a bunch of big words and layering it in metaphors and like stuff that you're like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, everyone's like, the fuck did you just say?
Yeah, but it sounded cool,
yeah, like every week
but so
Right,
you're
yeah, it
like,
sounded really cool.
So you're like, hell yeah, I'm in.
you get caught in a trance with Bray, but then you're like, I'm left
Yeah.
with more questions.
Yeah, exactly.
So
This is so cool, but I have no idea what's happening right now.
Right.
during the video, Bo Dallas would basically say that they're the reckoning of what's coming, and I took it as the leaders of some of these factions that have gone into business for themselves, basically, or power hungry. He is targeting, starting with Chad Gable. So now we need to have a reason why Chad Gable was being targeted with his Alpha Academy stuff. Which is why I asked y'all, I was like, maybe one day Bloodline versus White Six, but
It's way
I
too
am
early.
wondering when someone's gonna have a match from that group. At some point.
Yeah, at some point. You know what? It's like it's gonna be tough though because I don't remember Bo
If
Dallas
I'm
being
booking
like
it-
an incredible wrestler.
If I'm booking it, it's Bad Blood. It just seems fitting to have them debut at Bad Blood, but SummerSlam too, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna do like the like Bray did all the gimmick matches? Like he did
See,
that.
That's the only thing with this. I'm like, can we not do that? Just please.
Yeah.
I would love to see like
The Undertaker
how-
never had weird lights and stuff. Like his entrance was crazy.
Yeah.
the most gimmick match he did was like Buried Alive and
the casket match.
Castic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to see. You remember how Bray would dress up as just Bray from the Firefly Funhouse, have some matches, but then he would also dress up as a Fiend. I would love to
Yeah.
see like this Bo Dallas regular sometimes, and
But,
then
like-
almost like the Demon Finn. Then you call upon the Uncle Howdy.
By far the most ridiculous character besides the Undertaker ever is Kane, right? So like Kane interacted in the world of WWE, but it didn't seem stupid. Like he was cool. He was bad. He was like a badass character. Like he somehow was able to be on the same screen as guys like The Rock and Stone Cold, and it didn't seem like oh, who's this big goofy guy here? Like Kane was cool. If only there's a way to harness that and kind of like let these characters interact in the, and I don't mean the WWE universe as what we normally say, but let these characters interact in that universe, but they don't have to be so like, it doesn't have to be like with the lights off like during the match and like red spotlight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or what was Bray's last match when he did that one where it was
LA
like
Knight, Royal
yeah,
Rumble.
what did they call it though? It was something because it was sponsored by,
It was Mountain
I think
Dew or
Mountain Dew.
something. Mountain Dew, like
but it was something like
black
that.
light match. I don't know.
Yeah, and he had like the stuff that would light up on him.
Yeah. And then when they hit
That was
the
also when
table-
Uncle Howdy way overshot that dive.
All right, let's not tarnish Bray's fucking.
That's not tarnishing. I'm just saying, like that's what I remember from Uncle Howdy.
Yeah, that Uncle Howdy mask was rough. The one that had the chin built in.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
they cut it out this time. So yeah, by the end of the segment, though, if you didn't already know, I don't know, something wrong with you. But they basically showed that, yeah, they are one person, and Uncle Howdy's just a persona of Bo. Bo is Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy is Bo.
Einhorn
If you didn't know
is
that already,
Finkel. Finkel
Finkel is Einhorn. All right.
is Einhorn.
I'll go
What
down.
is Iron
talking
Horn?
talking about movies that could never be made ever in 2024. Literally
Never.
the whole plot of that movie could not happen now.
When he's like revealing like how the person did or whatever, when he's like talking about the tucked part.
Yeah, dude, like that could
Oh
never
my
The
be.
ending scene.
Yeah,
Her
yeah.
wiener. It's like, oh, dude.
I can't,
Everyone's
dude.
like, oh my god.
Dude, that movie.
I know, like the faces the people had, they're like, oh.
They're pure disgust.
Dude, that movie in 2024 context is crazy.
All right. We had a segment with Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn. Braun again just being freakish. Sami kind of got the best of Braun for a little bit during it. And then the main event was Drew McIntyre qualifying by defeating Ilya Dragunov and Sheamus to go into Money in the Bank. All right, that is Raw. Let's get in the Dynamite. Bryan Danielson defeats Pac. Move on to the Owen Hart tournament. The winner faces, he'll go on to face the winner of Jay White and the wild card versus Jeff Jarrett. So whoever wins wild card versus Jeff Jarrett is going to face Jay White, and Bryan Danielson will face the winner. And I was wrong this whole time. I really thought like the finals of the Owen Hart tournaments were taking place at All In. No, the winners of the Owen Hart tournament will get a title shot at All In.
Yeah, that's why I was like saying it's Danielson and Swerve then.
Yeah. Mark Briscoe would announce that he's Team AEW for Blood and Guts. Jack Perry would attack, and Kyle O'Reilly would try to make the save, but Okada would stop him short, and then the Acclaim would run down to make the save as well. So it looks like the Acclaimed and Mark Briscoe. And is there anyone else yet for Blood and Guts?
Not yet, but it's probably
On
what
that
the
team?
claim. Or you said the claimed already. Yeah, they haven't announced anyone else.
Is Daddy Ass a part of it, or
No, I don't. I think they said no.
And
And hopefully
Daddy
not.
ass. God.
Daddy
that whole
I mean, Billy
dude,
Gunn.
that whole saga. So crazy. I can't believe how long it's been.
Also, I know. I think it's also really funny how Okada, like obviously his English isn't great, but like the one word he really knows is bitch. So he'll just say
Yeah,
that in
that's-
like
that's
every
his new
promo
thing
now.
Britt Baker would come out to talk for her first promo back after returning. She talked about her injuries that she had gone through. She revealed that she had a TIA and ended up in a hospital, which was, she described it as a mini stroke. She
That's
talked about the
crazy.
recovery process and the fear of rejection when she was going to return to the pay-per-view. But she was thankful that the fans welcomed her back. I don't know if you guys saw the line, but during her time off, she was doing DDP yoga, which is probably why she's in like super crazy shape.
Yeah, we said that when we saw her that photo. We're like, why isn't she
Mhm.
back yet? But that explains it then.
Yeah. As she spoke, though, Mercedes Moné would come out to interrupt her moment, I would say. And Mercedes did say, you interrupted my win becoming double champion, so I'll interrupt your promo, your return promo. Mercedes would look disgusted when the crowd started chanting DMD instead of CEO. They traded some insults back and forth, but no one got physical during this. Britt Baker did say during this, she looked at Mercedes and said, "All in," and then the crowd was like, "No pop, really nothing." Then she again like reiterated, like, "You, me, all in," and it was like still fucking nothing. I was just like, "Oh no." I mean, I'm excited for it. I was surprised the crowd, the
Yeah,
AEW
this.
diehards.
I think we were saying like this is
weren't
probably
into
the
it.
best match that AEW, like the women's division, could have.
I mean,
right
I think we
now.
knew it was inevitable whenever she came back, but yeah, the crowd was just, I don't know.
If you're an AEW like hardcore fan, why are y'all not excited for this?
This should be like the one
I
you've
don't
been dreaming of.
understand.
Yeah, they're just waiting for them to call each other bitch again.
Yeah.
Bitches.
That's all I
yes,
did.
Mercedes kept doing that. So Britt Baker is clearly the
Make out.
baby face nowadays, while Mercedes is
That's how
is
in
the heel.
2000 in 2001 that would have been the show.
Also, speaking of Mercedes, did you see Mercedes and Bailey like working out together, and they both have their titles?
Oh no, I forget
No.
that they're like best friends.
Yeah, it was like recently because she had the TBS title.
The Learning Tree would come out, and Jericho would kick out Taz from the
Hey
arena.
guys,
Thanks, guys.
Oh, I was like, hi. Yeah. Hey guys. It's so bad. You know what? I was torn before. No, it's just bad. It's just bad.
You think?
Just,
I think it's starting to get over.
he's like, you know how I just love my TV time.
I think it's starting to
Yeah.
get over
Guys,
too.
You, Andy, you laugh at that. Don't tell us you didn't laugh at that.
But like, I'm at the same time like, fuck, I hate it.
I know, but like it's getting over because he goes like, "Hey guys" to everyone and waves, and then the entire crowd is waving back to him.
Yep. That's how you know.
I don't know. He took it from being like kind of funny to like feel forced. And I think that's from like a few Dynamites ago when they had like 4 backstage segments.
Yeah, that's when it started. I think
kept doing it.
but
yeah,
that is
Thanks,
funny when he
guys.
goes like, "You know me, I need my TV time."
but he talked about Hook using Jericho's finisher, and he said that's the big no-no in wrestling. That's copyright infringement, right, Taz? Who has been doing all this copyright stuff for
Y'all need to leave
his
that man
brand.
alone, dude. Taz will roll out. He does not care.
But because Taz stood up and clapped when Hook and his team won at Forbidden Door, commentators are supposed to be biased. So because of that, that's why Jericho kicked him out of the arena.
Commentators are
Said he had talked to
non or unbiased.
or unbiased.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said biased. Taz was being biased. They're supposed to be unbiased. So Jeff Jarrett would have his his own hard tournament match against the wild card, and the wild card would be fucking Hangman Adam Page. I still can't stand him. The only thing that's changed was his intensity and anger and new music. I thought maybe a haircut,
He has
maybe different gear.
He has like a thicker mustache. I think that's about it.
Thicker mustache, yeah. Winner was Hangman Adam Page. So now it's Page versus Jay White scheduled for Collision. Winner faces Bryan Danielson.
See, also, I don't know why AEW doesn't put these promos on TV because they're usually pretty good, but when they do backstage stuff and they
With
put them
him
on
in
like
the
their
with
YouTube
him
or
in the
whatever.
book.
No, it was just I don't know if it was him in the box, but it was just Hangman. But he made like it was a good promo, I think, because it told a good story. But it was like he's like talking about Swerve, and he's like he broke into my house. He was in my daughter's bedroom or whatever. And he's like, and they still cheered him and they booed me and all this stuff. And then he's like, that's why I hate hate the fans now.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah. He cuts a promo on Collision, which we'll talk about.
Oh, was that on Collision?
Yeah,
Never mind.
in the ring promo. I don't know if you're talking about
Oh, okay,
backstage.
no, this is backstage.
And then the main event was Will Ospreay retaining against Daniel Garcia. MJF was in Garcia's corner and kind of caused Garcia's loss by trying to get him to use the Dynamite ring. Afterwards, when it looks like MJF is trying to console Garcia, he ends up kicking him in the nuts. And then beats the piss out of him. Nuts. Beats the piss out of him, bloodies him, tombstones him off the top rope. Ospreay would come out late to save him, which is funny because Ospreay had just left the ring. So it's like, what were you doing? So this sets up MJF versus Will Ospreay for All In.
Yep.
I'm such a beefcake, I can't even get through the door. Sweet.
Classic. When Tim was younger and he had like a higher pitched voice, he could really do it.
Before I went through puberty, my Cartman was crazy, dude.
I'll give him that. All right, on to SmackDown. Go home show. Opened up with Men's Money in the Bank segment, where all members of Men's Money in the Bank would be in the ring. Didn't start off that way. It started off with Jey Uso. Then it would be LA Knight. They would have a yeah and yeet.
Yeah.
Back and forth. And slowly other members would make their way in, ending with Drew McIntyre. And a brawl would ensue as you would expect. Kind of the same thing that went on during the press conference kickoff. If anyone saw that, where all members were on stage as well. Randy, Cody, and KO had a segment where KO would kind of take hold of the promo, talking about how his mom has been in the hospital, and usually when they're in Canada, the whole family can be there, but this time they're not because his mom. He said he's been sitting by his mother's bedside the past like 3 days or so. He said, but he's here, and he's ready to beat down the bloodline. Main event was DIY defeating A-Town Down Under and becoming the new WWE Tag Team Champions. This is their first main roster gold. Toronto, I believe, is where Johnny Gargano returned and made his main roster debut. But I also think it's where DIY first won their NXT tag titles, if I'm not mistaken.
Could be.
I think that's what they said. I could be wrong. If you are good at lip reading, you would see Ciampa say "about motherfucking time" after their win. So hopefully they have a good run. Unlike what they've been doing with the women's tag titles, now that Iba Fire and Isla Dawn have won them, they have not done anything, nor tried to develop their characters any further. They're barely on TV at all. Maybe like a little backstage promo, but now that Bianca and Jay don't hold the titles, they are not doing shit.
Yeah.
To these women.
Shit.
And they're both talented, so that sucks. On Rampage, Mariah May would defeat Hikaru Shida. Move on to the Owen Hart tournament. Winner will be so the finals for the women's will be Willow versus Mariah May. Winner goes to All In. If Mariah May wins, she'll be facing her friend Toni Storm for the title. So that'll be interesting. Collision. Cool beans. Remember when people used to say cool beans?
Yeah.
You were like, no, because no one fucking says it.
I feel like you're a cool beans person, Andy.
By the way, since I'm on the wrong Collision results, here we go. I read that after Forbidden Door, Stephanie Vaquer, who faced Mercedes Moné, received a lot of offers from AEW and WWE.
Yeah, that was like a showcase for her, basically.
Yeah, so higher ups were very impressed. Apparently, I would assume
everyone loved her. I think
Stephanie would probably go to NXT first, because only that smaller audience.
Yeah, would know who she is.
Yeah. All right, AEW Collision. MJF would start the show. And MJF would say that Danny Garcia was a pawn the entire time, and he'll tell us later, or he'll tell us why later. And that Garcia won't make it to All In, and he'll probably never wrestle again. But he wasn't there to talk about Garcia. He was there to talk about the fans. He shows a video clip from Dynamite from August 2nd, 2023, where he said he can't handle rejection well, and he suffers from ADHD. Y'all remember that promo?
Mm-hmm.
MJF said he opened up to the people, and they never gave a damn. He did everything for the people, let his guard down, let in Adam Cole, let in Adam Cole for the people, broke his body for the people. And what did the fans do after MJF gave us everything? The fans chanted, "Thank you, Joe," after Samoa Joe defeated MJF. While MJF was in physical therapy. So what MJF did to Daniel Garcia wasn't personal between him and Garcia. It was personal between MJF and the fans. And MJF will now take away everything that the people love, because the fans have ruined this company, not Tony Khan. But don't worry, MJF is going to fix it. Ospreay can't help the company like he can, and all he cares about is good matches and not ticket sales or ratings. The only ratings Will Ospreay cares about are from a guy named Meltzer and not Nielsen's.
I feel like he was talking more about Tony Khan than anyone else.
Yeah.
He just used Ospreay as a
scapegoat.
Yeah.
Ospreay's a new scapegoat. So
yeah, that's
Ospreay's
really
music would
guys.
play,
That's really taken off. By the way, huge.
The scapegoat.
Yeah, I mean they're doing record numbers, sold out houses, ratings are higher than ever. I would say the scapegoat and the elite running roughshod over the show has probably been one of the best things that's ever happened to him. I mean, we can clearly see from the numbers how good it's doing.
Will Ospreay's music would hit, but it was just his music because Ospreay isn't there tonight. And he's not coming because apparently he's a two-faced, fickle, gutless coward just like the people. His name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and you'll thank him later. So,
I'm glad that we have heel MJF.
Yeah, but he's not angry at anyone. He's angry at the fans now. That's who is the target. We had a weird Jack Perry backstage promo where he's talking to his title, and the camera is filming the title, and all you see is Jack Perry's reflection the whole time. That was a little odd, but
interesting.
Let's get to the Hangman Adam Page promo, if we can. Trying to find notes about it, but I can't. Oh well.
Did you take notes?
Hangman is back. Basically, he hinted. I guess no. It was a backstage promo. It wasn't in person or out.
Oh, so it was the one that I was mentioning.
Yeah, he says he has unfinished business. Or he says he has to do something that I don't know. Basically, he's back for Swerve. I don't remember his words. All right, but
if it's the same one, it's basically just because
he's back for Swerve, who he never beat. I think Swerve beat him twice. So if he wins the tournament, it'll be Swerve versus him for the title at All In. And what are they gonna? They either gonna make Hangman lose for a third time to Swerve, or they're gonna take the belt off of Swerve and give it to Hangman.
They can't do that. I think it has to be Danielson and Swerve at All In.
I'm watching JD McDonough and Finn Balor come out right now, and I think I finally figured out why. People used to think that JD McDonough had like a big head, but I think I finally figured out what it is. He's been on a mewing streak.
All right.
No. You know what I was going to say is that JD McDonough actually looks like you, Tim.
No, he's me. We both have. So I do have a big head. I wear the big. But
There's
yeah,
been times when you wear those like vests sometimes or jackets like that.
I'm in my JD McDonough attire.
Yeah, and you have your hair down then too.
Dude, he's been on a mewing streak. He has a good jawlines, hard.
Also, by the way, so people know when we're all watching Money in the Bank on Saturday together, Tim thought it was a good time to show us what mewing is. And we had a whole lesson on it.
Stupid.
You gotta up your jawline, clench it. They can make some good gum that you can get. It's like resistant. Dude, we're all gonna have that Johnny Depp crybaby Russell Brand jawline by like next year.
Back to the show, huh? Enough about
Go ahead.
Jesus.
Trying to get on a streak.
So yeah, during that Hangman promo, he said he will burn his world to the ground at All In. So we have to assume they're talking about Swerve. Backstage, we had a promo from the Patriarchy and Christian. He says he didn't even know who the Trios champions were. He had to Google it. He believes that Jay White wants out of the Bang Bang Gang, and Christian is going to take those titles and revive them, paving his road to the World Heavyweight Championship. He also tells Juice to suck on a fentanyl lollipop and calls the Guns Billy Gunn a waste. Kip Sabian would show up and tell Christian that he lost his father. And then Christian has Kill Switch murder Kip Sabian. You just hear screams off to the side.
None of this felt good.
You know, while you were saying that,
this all felt
while
bad.
you were saying that, I was watching Braun Strowman chase Carlito around the ring, and he was trying to act like he couldn't reach him for the longest time. It was so awkward.
I've seen Braun Strowman haul ass, so when I see him run slow, I'm just like, fucking lie.
Yeah.
Sinner.
Jungle Boy would have a TNT Championship match, and the Jurassic Express music would hit, and out comes Marco Stunt, his old buddy. We haven't seen Marco Stunt on TV for a while. Tim, what's his nickname?
Marco Stunted Growth.
Marco Stunted Growth. So Jungle Boy would have a match against his old friend, and he would lawn dart him into the turnbuckle.
Just murder him.
Basically murder him. And Jungle Boy would retain. This was a more competitive. It should have not gone this long, I'll say.
Yeah.
Daddy Magic would have a backstage promo. Talking to MJF, if I'm not mistaken, for hurting his friend Daniel Garcia, and also he bloodied Daddy Magic during this whole encounter last week with Daniel Garcia. Or from Dynamite.
Which guy's Daddy Magic again?
He's on commentary now all the time. He replaced Jericho.
He's the nipples guy?
Yeah. I was going to say the thing if you didn't get it.
Yeah. Does that make how did he do it, Andy? I can't remember. Well, how did it go?
Do you want to know what makes Daddy Magic's nipples hard? That's how he did it.
I feel like he should have given that some more time. I think that would have gotten over.
Dude, it was short-lived.
They need to give it as much time as Jericho's given this character time.
Yeah.
But,
eventually it'll work.
Yeah.
Daddy Magic would say 6 months from now, maybe a year, he won't be getting dick dancing Danny Garcia. You're getting Red Death Danny Garcia. Dick dancing. All right.
Dick dancing.
The main
His
event.
nipples hard.
The main event was Hangman Adam Page defeating Jay White to go to the finals in the Owen Hart tournament. He's going to face Bryan Danielson. Next week, winner goes to All In. Jay
That's
White
the finals next week?
Andy, you remember
so.
when
Jay
we were in
White
high school?
lost.
You remember when we were in high school? That's how everybody would say it. Nipples. Be like, yo, you got some buttery nipples, boy.
Yes, I remember. And it wasn't everyone; it was just your friend group.
Yeah.
Wasn't everyone?
Yo, let me see your knee
Jay White would
poos,
lose
boy.
because Christian would get involved. So that's why Jay White seemed to have lost. And also this was what was it? Beach Break, AEW Beach Break this week. Shark
Beach
Week.
break. Yeah.
Fun. All right, let's get into Money in the Bank.
Fun.
Let's get into Money in the Bank. Look, after reading what people are saying and thinking about it, Money in the Bank was okay.
And you know why it was okay? It's because WWE's done amazing shows before this year. So that's why this is okay. This would have been good. Like their standard, remember like their standard like 5 years ago was down here, like way below.
Yeah.
Now it's pretty high.
Yeah, they kept raising the bar.
Yeah.
All right, so the show opened up with the men's Money in the Bank. We had Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight,
We're again
Jey
Taco Bell.
Uso, and fuck. Who am I missing?
LA Knight.
I said LA Knight.
Andrade.
I said Andrade, surprisingly.
Chad
Right,
Gable.
Whatever. Chad Gable, yeah. And Randy Orton.
Ready.
No, Chad Gable. Yeah, Chad Gable.
Willing. Gable.
Kind of what you would have expected. McIntyre would end up winning, which I wasn't expecting, but that was my second choice. I thought Jey Uso was going to win. But I did say that if McIntyre won, he was going to try to cash in later on. So that was my prediction when it came to Drew. Andrade did the same move he did to Finn Balor 5 years
Finn
ago.
Balor, that's the
Money in
Midwest
Bank.
version.
Andrade did a cool reverse Spanish fly on Hayes, which both guys did really good. And yeah, he did the sunset flip to Carmelo Hayes onto a ladder, which he had done to Finn Balor years ago. Andrade did a lot of shit during this match, though.
He had to get his time in. He's never on TV.
Yeah, that's true. Second match was Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. I thought Sami Zayn made Breaker look great. Sami Zayn did win, and a little spoiler, it looks like that feud is going to continue. Probably SummerSlam they'll have a match.
Braun also had new music.
Braun got new music at this pay-per-view.
Braun really looks like his... Not yet. He's almost there, but dude, when he came back and he had like the red tights and was bald, I was like, this is weird. I was like, this is not the guy. And now like he looks much more like how he used to.
Who, Braun Breaker?
No, sorry. I'm sorry, not Braun Breaker. I'm thinking of
Tim's getting messed up because he's watching Raw live
I'm watching
right
Braun
now, and
Strowman. I was thinking of Strowman. Strowman looks when Strowman came back and it looked like he had the red tights and stuff, he looked so weird and he was bald. Now he looks like himself.
Well, what you think of Braun Breaker during the
No, I like Braun Breaker a lot. I thought he was great.
I think for people that thought Braun was just a one-trick pony, I think they were proved wrong. He's not just he can actually go and knows how to wrestle. He's not just he's not like Goldberg. If people used to compare him to that.
He doesn't have to go a million miles an hour either.
No. His Frankensteiner off the top rope is great. He might do it better than Scott at times.
I mean,
Go back and watch some old footage, all right? Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
You know what I like about his? You know what I like about Braun's is that he takes a moment at the top. That
was crazy when he did that. He like stands at the top.
He doesn't just he like halts and then does it and flings it back.
And he can hop up to
the
the top rope too.
Yeah. But Braun is I think one day he'll main event WrestleMania. I think that's where his future is.
Oh yeah. And probably another like, I don't know, 5-6 years.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not
like,
saying this
he-
year or anything,
yeah, he
but I'm
definitely
saying
needs
he's
some
a
time,
future
but yeah, he's
big-time
getting
star.
there.
He's only in his 20s.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I enjoyed the match. I think these two actually had pretty good chemistry, even though they're vastly different. And Sammy did make Braun look really good.
Oh, yeah, Sammy was doing really good
Made
work.
Braun
there.
look strong.
Yeah.
And you got to make
All right,
Braun
That always reminds me of
look really,
that CM Punk
really
quote.
strong.
He's
You
like,
make
you want to look
Roman-
strong? How about he just wins?
You make Roman look really, really. He's like, all right, I get it.
I get it. I know how to do the job.
All right, let's talk about this because after listening to Triple H talk about it, I feel bad. All right, Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Overall, before the botch, they were having a solid match. All right.
Yeah.
Then Seth hit a Falcon Arrow and goes to pin Drew, or Damian goes to pin Damian. Damian did not kick out when he should have. There's a little delay, and then Drew's music hits.
Well, also the ref counted 2, and his shoulders didn't move.
Yeah,
Like he stopped it 2.
but Damian was supposed to kick out, which is why I think the ref counted it 2. But I know the ref is supposed to go all just
Yeah.
do it.
Isn't that why they don't tell referees finishes or whatever? Just because they're supposed to count it like in real time or something?
Tim would know that better than me.
Because they don't want the refs like doing that, so they know the finish.
My understanding
Looks
is
like
that
I'm gonna.
my understanding is that you're supposed to count to 3, regardless of it's the finish or not, to sustain credibility.
Yeah.
Well, shit got messed up. Also, by the way, Punk's on TV right now. I guess I have to go back.
King's on TV right now.
So Drew
I see
would
him.
come out. Drew would
I see
cash in. CM Punk would come out of nowhere and start attacking Drew, giving him a bunch of punches and whatnot. Ends up hitting him with the title, allowing Damian Priest to hit the. Is it called South of Heaven?
I'm not sure.
Chokeslam. I think his chokeslam's called the South of Heaven. Anyway, winner was Damian Priest. Seth Rollins was still in the match though, and Seth's reaction was he's kind of pissed off at Punk getting involved in his business and costing him the title.
Just a little bit.
And so this is now the seeds have been planted to
We will
start a
have
long
follow-up.
feud.
We will have follow-up on all
We'll
that
have
for
follow-up
next week.
week. That is for sure. But what Triple H said during the press conference when asked about the botch, he said, "I'm going to answer this as Triple H." And basically what he ended up saying is, he said, sometimes it happens, and knowing Damian and knowing what it's like to be a performer, no one's beating themselves up more right now than Damian. He said, because they could have had one of the best matches ever, but the only thing people are going to take away from this now is the botch.
Right.
And it's true. It's the only thing people are talking about. They're not even they're talking more about the botch, I realize, than CM Punk getting involved and causing Drew the cash in. Which that should have been kind of the takeaway.
Yeah, that should have been, yeah.
But they're talking about the botch more than that.
Also, it was another thing that, I don't know, I think, Andy, you and I agreed on it then, but like we don't like when they use the money in the bank like that fast.
No. So, also, the reason why Punk obviously cashed in is because he made a promise that as long as he's breathing, Drew will never become champion again.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a waste. They've done it before with Kane winning Money in the Bank, and 50 minutes later, cashing in on Rey Mysterio. They've done it with the women before. I believe Dean Ambrose did it when he won and got involved with Roman and Seth at Money in the Bank. So yeah, now no one's Money in the Bank until a year from now.
Yeah.
But that is not the case for the women. But go on.
No. I was just going to say, I feel like someone like LA Knight could have had it, just held on to it for a bit.
Or Jey
But
Uso.
also,
Said or Jey Uso.
Yeah, or Jey. But also, I see, like, you're not going to have Cody lose the title off of that. And also, most likely, Gunther, I think, is going to win at SummerSlam. So you're not going to have someone cash in on him too.
Well, yeah. So that being said, with Damian retaining, we now have. I'm going to say it's not the main event because I'm sure we're getting Cody versus Solo as the main event. Possibly Roman returning. That's when I would do it. But we do know that the World Heavyweight Championship will be decided against Gunther and Damian, and then the pay-per-view after that is Bash in Berlin, where Gunther will be incredibly over and probably walking in as champion.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see.
So, before the next match, which was the Women's Money in the Bank, John Cena would announce his retirement. And I want to clear some things up. Because he says it's going to start in 2025 Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and WrestleMania 41 will be his last. But that does not mean that's his last match. He cleared this up in his press conference. That's his last WrestleMania. He said he's doing a final, this is it tour. It's starting in January and it's ending in December. He's doing a full year so that as many fans in different cities can see him one more time.
I would like to go, to be honest, to see it.
Go to the Baltimore one.
I'd like to go see him on on his retirement tour. I feel like that's a wrestler that we've watched from day one.
Our kids.
Yeah, and I want to see it through.
As much as you booed him.
I mean, dude, I was 12. I mean, I was 12 when Cena debuted. So yeah, I mean, I was a fucking kid.
God knows we hated Cena.
Yeah.
I'm 34
I loved
now.
Cena as a kid, and I did get
insane.
into that. Yeah.
Well,
I did get into that range where I started booing him.
Are we going to Vegas this year for Mania or what?
God, only if we're driving.
Dude.
There are
me and Jeremy are three Tito's in on the. We don't even make it an hour of the drive-in. Andy has to drive 18 hours by himself.
So there's no date announced for 2025 yet, except for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. But I'll keep looking as time goes on.
I'll tell you what.
Where's the Royal Rumble?
What? So, tell us what.
No, I was gonna.
I said, "Where's the Royal Rumble?"
I was
Rumble. This is what happens.
I was gonna say that we can get on a plane once Boeing figures out their shit.
All right.
The Rumble is in Indianapolis, Indiana.
We can go to Indy.
February 1st.
That's shorter than Vegas, right?
Vegas is April 19th and April 20th. 420, bro.
Oh, never mind. We'll go to Vegas then.
But I would like to. Look. We it might not be feasible to do a SummerSlam or Rumble or Mania trip this year. But dude, we should at least do an overnight pay-per-view in Philly or something, or even an overnight pay-per-view in Baltimore, just to it'll be smaller scale, but that was so fun. I just want to redo that, even if it's not as big of a trip.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out, and we'll discuss it more as time goes on the podcast.
New video. New VHS, I mean.
I'll go straight to, since we're talking about Cena and he told about his timeline, he also was asked about the Vince stuff, and he was just like, look, he's like, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the future. If you want to know my thoughts, they're out there in other interviews, basically. Shit, I'm not going to look at the TV during this VHS stuff. But Punk was in the press conference, since we are talking about Cena, and one of the things he talked about was he would love to have a match with Cena one more time before Cena retires, or he'll be the guy to get him out of retirement in 15 years, which would make them both old as shit, by the way.
They would.
But, dude, it would be awesome.
This brought me...
That's old school wrestling, though. They do that all the time. Two old dudes getting in there. Vern Gagne.
You think, though, during Cena's last full 1-year tour, it's possible that we could get a Cena.
What I want out of Cena during the reunion tour, let's just call it that, is but you can't
Is
do
a win?
some. Well, yeah, but there's some things you can't do, right? So we can't have a feud with Angle. We can't have a feud with Taker. Those guys are gone. But give me the greatest hits of what you can do. Give me Cena. Give me Punk. Give me AJ. Give me like the ones that you know that are gonna be Randy or Roman, or give me like the.
Oh my God, Randy! They have to do Randy and Cena
They have
times
to.
50, right?
Well, let me ask you, because this I was thinking about this the other day. In your opinion, who is Cena's greatest rival?
Randy, if you're going that way.
Really?
'Cause-
Most people said he was number 3. It came down to Edge or Punk.
Oh, I guess.
Edge for the story and
Well-
what it did for both of them, or Punk
Yeah.
for the wrestling.
I do like Punk for the wrestling.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me. God, it's so different because it almost feels like two different characters. Young Cena was like edgy, and him and Edge had this like great feud. That was that to me I thought was fantastic. But then by the time that the Cena Punk feud happened, Cena's like the guy, and he's like the Hulk Hogan. So it's like, God, I don't know if I can. I would say those are the top two. It's just hard for me to pick which one over the other because they're both so different, like such different timing.
So someone said on Reddit, said someone said Edge. They had a lot of matches that almost always felt significant. Orton versus Cena very quickly felt like, oh, not this again.
That's true. It was because it was every single main event for every pay-per-view for like 5 years, it felt like.
And then someone said this: Edge is John Cena's greatest rival, but John Cena is Randy's greatest rival.
Okay,
that's a good way to put it.
Or is Edge's greatest rival Cena Sr.?
True.
Cena Sr.
Cena's dad. But then there was a list. They were like, what was the list? It was like Punk, Edge, Randy, Brock, Rock. You could throw AJ in there. But AJ was so late in his career.
I believe in Jeff Hardy.
No.
Oh, okay.
All right. What does Sportskeeda say? Sportskeeda says that Edge's greatest, or John Cena's greatest rival is Edge, which had the biggest influence on Cena's career. All right. Well, you can't get that match. All right. So then you go to number 2. CM Punk and John Cena's rivalry shook up the entire industry. That's true. Randy versus Cena is one of the longest standing rivalries in WWE. The Rock Cena is one of the WWE's most bankable rivalries of all time. Brock and Cena have been fated to clash for 2 decades. That's why the rivalry was big when it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So, last 2 matches. Let's get through Money in the Bank. This was the best women's Money in the Bank match, I think, that they've had so far.
Oh,
I think it might have been the best match on the show. Zoe Stark would hit the shit out of her head. Zoe Stark would beat herself up during this match.
She really did.
The winner, who was basically all of our prediction, was Tiffany Stratton. It's Tiffy time.
But the way she won, though.
She's gonna bedazzle it, the briefcase, and put a strap on it so she holds it like a purse. She said during the press conference. That's very much in character.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of.
Now you don't gotta carry that stupid briefcase around anymore. One of my favorite moments when he goes with the Damian Priest and says that.
Yeah.
When I was watching this Women's Money in the Bank, the whole time, all I could think was,
yeah.
No, okay. Fuck. Sometimes my jokes fall flat. Or repeat.
I'm just gonna bleep this whole section.
Yeah, just take out the awkwardness of this whole section. All right, hang on.
MVP of the match.
Hang on.
No. Keep going, because I'm just gonna bleep it. I'm not gonna cut it.
What were you gonna say, Tim?
No.
I
No.
believe in Jeff
I
Hardy.
believe in
You know-
Jeff Hardy.
By the way, speaking of when
We've
Heatwave
totally
ended
gone
for
off.
NXT,
Yeah.
We've gone off the rails.
Yes, Andy.
What, then we'll get back. But this is Jeremy wanted to talk about this. When Heatwave ended, and they put the little NXT Heatwave
The
pay-per-view,
trademark.
they put the little trademark at the bottom. When the screen went blank, they just showed Joe Hendry with a background going.
And
then
they
it
just
went
showed
off.
it. They showed it again in the commercial for NXT.
Why do they keep showing Joe Hendry?
He's coming back.
I hope so. Say his name, and he appears, man.
I
Did
don't
you
like
see
how
during the
I don't
panel,
like how his
The
clap
head,
is like
copy of Joe
the
Hendry side.
his clap. He does like the sexual like kind of like pounding thing. He's like, I was like, I kind of don't like that, but other than that,
All right, MVP though of the women's Money in the Bank match, and she needs a push now. Chelsea Green.
Now
Chelsea Green. She was great.
she took that bump. Tim, don't do
Oh
that,
no, Mr. Wabbit.
guys. This is not the place for it.
oh no, don't leave me out. I need you, SpongeBob.
Why don't you grab a gumball? Dude. All right, just tell them who these videos are. Who are they by? You should know by now.
No, we're not going over it. We're just gonna move on from it because I'm bleeping this out.
All right. Let's wrap up the show. Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu. I read something. What did I read something that it was on Instagram. It was like Tonga Loa is an NPC or something like that. So he went to do a low blow
Oh my god.
to Kevin Owens and ended up hitting his ass. Kevin Owens didn't do anything, so then he went for another low blow, and then finally,
And then hit him in the head.
You know when he did the second one though?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit him in the head. No wonder this guy doesn't wrestle.
Jacob Fatu would no-sell Orton's signature DDT.
Yeah. I like that though, because that showed because he does look like a monster already.
Jacob Fatu was put through the announce table. We saw just about everyone hit at least one finisher.
They all murdered the ref.
But the official was hurled back into the ring after being destroyed when Solo accidentally knocked him out. And surprisingly enough, Solo would pin Cody.
Yeah.
For the match. So, how'd you think Jacob Fatu looked in his first match in WWE?
Really good. He did a random whisper in the wind better than Jeff Hardy.
Oh yeah. I believe in Jeff Hardy.
What do you think, Tim?
I thought he looked
Rating here.
incredible. The whisper in the wind, like Jeremy just said, was crazy, and he just looks like such a beast. Like he's just gonna tear through everybody.
He's a horse.
He's a hoss.
The Bloodline did get the win. I thought everyone looked great. I forgot to mention at the top of the show because I want to know if you all think this is a good idea. Let us know. But look, the plan. We had a mix up with dinner. The three of us, for the first time, sat down and watched a pay-per-view together at Tim's place. It wasn't just me and Tim. And we thought the pay-per-view started at 8. Started at 7,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we were going to go live on TikTok and just watch it all together live, but we never fully caught up. So maybe next time we'll do TikTok live, watch along.
Someone kept pausing it.
Who, me?
Me?
I don't think we would have caught up anyway. We were
No, we
like
would've.
45 minutes behind or an hour behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the plan. I think I like the idea of it, and I'm gonna try again next time. But that wraps up episode 136. Tim, do you have a classic show of the week? A Money in the Bank?
I do. Classic show of the week is Money in the Bank 2013, which has a cast of characters that you are all familiar with, but they are all in different spots in their career now. Some of them aren't even wrestling at all. So let me take you through from the top. All right, the Stips in this match. It's a tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. The Shield, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins against the Usos, Jay and Jimmy. Second match, Cesaro, Cody Rhodes. The second match is a Money in the Bank ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship contract. So the match is Damian Sandow against Cesaro, against Cody Rhodes, against Dean Ambrose, against Fandango, against Jack Swagger, against Wade Barrett.
Oh, Fandango.
Next match, singles match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, Curtis Axel with Paul Heyman against The Miz.
Oh God, Curtis Axel with Paul Heyman was such a flop.
It did not work. The next match, singles match for the Divas Championship, AJ Lee with Big E as her manager against Caitlyn. Really weird match. Singles match right here, really weird. Ryback versus Chris Jericho. Singles match for the WWE.
The Ryback.
The Ryback. Singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship, Dolph Ziggler against Alberto Del Rio. And then we got two more here. Singles match for the WWE Championship, John Cena against Mark Henry. And you guys are all going to know these guys in this match. All-star cast. I might have to go back and watch this one, to be honest. Money in the Bank ladder match for a WWE Championship contract. Randy Orton against Christian, against CM Punk, against Daniel Bryan, against Rob Van Dam, against Sheamus. So that's Money in the Bank 2013. So go and watch that. Thank you all for joining us, and we will catch you all next week for another episode of the PW Fan.